Hi guys, welcome to part. We are currently at a point where I think we are just doing some side missions, and probably gonna reveal some maps by climbing some of those long necks. We'll see what happens, but yeah.
At least there aren't as many side quests as Amalur.
Oh yeah, tell me about it. But at least we found out what the issue was in regards to
That'll help.
Horizon, well, and Discord.
Yeah, what did it turn out to be in the end?
I just mean that I think it's just where I click off of the game, it just doesn't show up or whatever.
It's just disappeared for me on Discord.
Oh, God damn it. 1 sec.
Don't worry about it, I'll just listen out.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Alright. I'll just let you know if I do some quiet or something. But yeah, I don't know why that's... Yeah, like I said, I think it's because I'm trying to stream to 2 places at the same time, both Discord and to Twitch.
Yeah, just bizarre that it didn't do that when you were playing with Star.
I mean...
It could just be the game itself.
It's possible, yeah. I mean... I don't know that it was overly important, because we kind of knew what happens in Leon's run in Resident Evil 2 Remake. And there weren't, like, a lot of crazy sort of story-based things that's, like, heavily explainy. That might have been part of it.
But no, every time it disappears on Discord, it tells me to go watch your stream. So I think it's something on Discord setting.
Maybe.
It's like, if I could go and watch the stream and it be up to date with what we're looking at.
And it not be, like, delayed or anything.
Right. But I've said it before and I'll say it again, the animation style in this game is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
I know it's not exactly this studio's first game, but...
No, they did, like, Killzone, which is way different from any... well, from this. And I love that they did want to do something different. Because, like, I fucking love this. I love it.
Yeah.
And it would have been a shame if they didn't want to take that risk and just decided to make more Killzone games.
Yeah.
Like, I never really had any interest in Killzone.
No, I tried playing it once years later when it sort of was a free game on the PlayStation Store. But by then it was so out of date
Now what?
that I just couldn't get into it.
Yeah.
Because I'll admit I'm a bit of a graphics and performance whore when it comes to games now. Don't get me wrong, I love some of the older games, but...
So remember that time when you upgraded your PC just to play Witcher 3?
Yes. Like it was only 7 years ago. And you thought I was crazy if memory serves.
Well, I see it as a future-proofing, right?
Yeah, you told me to wait because I could have got better kit sooner after. Then I realised, because the trouble is, a lot of the time these tech companies come up with the latest graphics cards, but are so... I don't know what the word is, but they are, you know, where they don't tell you the releasing date.
Yeah. I mean,
So you wait and wait and wait, and then you think, oh well, it's been a month, it's not going to come.
Yeah.
And then the second you decide that it's not coming,
yeah. I mean, generally
when
speaking, there are sort of ways to kind of predict when it might be coming. Obviously, it's not reliable, but it does also require you being able to wait for all of that, you know.
Things
Yeah.
aren't cheap.
But like, technically, I bought my current graphics cards just before the 30 series was released. So technically, I got skipped, kind of, in regards to what I bought. But like, if I bought a current 30XX or whatever it is, then like I wouldn't be able to fit it in my computer anyway, because those things are huge.
yeah.
So like, in a way I regret it, but in a way I don't, because you know I can actually fit it in my PC.
Well, the good news is I'm watching your stream through Discord, not through Twitch's interface, and it seems to be streaming live.
Okay, what, Discord?
With no delay.
Okay. Well, that was the point, isn't it, for Discord?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't be 100% sure that the sound is matching up perfectly,
Right.
but it seems a lot closer than the actual Twitch
Right, okay.
service
Yeah, I mean,
is.
there's literally no delay when it comes to Discord. It's just with Twitch when it has like a 5-second delay or 30-second delay or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've been listening to the sound effects as I'm watching what's happening on screen,
Yeah.
and then comparing the two visuals,
Yeah.
and it seems to be no delay at all. In theory.
Yeah, no, I get you.
So we won't have to do screen share anymore. I'll just click the watch stream button.
Oh, what, for Discord when it pops up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that at least
how
solves
that
that
works.
mystery.
I wonder how that works. Like,
I don't know, but I think it's probably their way of getting some kind of royalties for it.
it wouldn't not surprise.
Which is why they don't want you doing screen sharing. It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. Let's see, I need wire and I need application.
As much as I like Twitch and I stream on it myself,
Yeah.
if Discord were to launch their own streaming service, I'd probably use that more than I'd use Twitch.
Yeah.
Simply because it seems to be better quality.
Discord's like 720.
Well, I don't know what Twitch is pumping out, but I personally,
You can
and this
select
is just
when
me,
it comes to Twitch.
yeah, but what I mean is I personally don't see any difference.
Right.
But that's just me. If you put it side by side, I might notice a difference, but... But then again, I grew up in the CFT era, so...
I mean, I think you follow Digital Foundry?
I don't know who they are.
They're basically a guy who they're basically a channel who deals with tech news, i.e. like graphics cards and how they perform and things like that.
Alright, yeah.
And they did a Control, the controller game.
Yeah.
On a CRT.
Wow.
Yeah, so like a modern game in old school like display, and like because of the way that CRTs were made, graphically it requires far less because there's a lot less fidelity in those screens, which I thought was just hilarious. Like,
I'll go and check the video out if they've got it on YouTube.
yeah, they do. They've got a Patreon, but I can't afford that.
Yeah, there are several people I look at and I'm like, oh, their Patreon's actually pretty decent. And then I'm like, but there's no way in a month of Sundays I could ever afford it.
For me, like, it's like I can barely get a few subs on Twitch, like,
Right.
to the people I follow, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like I'd love to support more, it's just I can't.
Because there's a guy I support it. I've been supporting for exactly a year, a couple of days ago.
I'm lucky. I get a free sub for every time.
I was about to say, I've been supporting him for a year, only because I've got that free sub.
There you go.
Especially with the pandemic going on at the moment. Money's even tighter than it used to be.
Yeah. In a way, it's been better for me because like I've not had to go into work.
All right, rub it in.
But like I am getting cabin fever.
Yeah, no. Now you see why I kept ringing you up when you lived down here and was like, "Can we go out, Louis, please?
Yeah.
For the love of God, Louis."
Yeah.
Because being disabled, I know that cabin fever all too well.
Yeah. I mean, like I've still got like some freedoms in regards to sort of going out and whatnot, which obviously you wouldn't have.
Yeah, I mean, for me, even when there wasn't a lockdown, there were a lot of issues that prevented me from going out because wheelchair access is a real pain in the backside.
Why does it say red? Oh, I guess it's sunset.
And that's without false advertising. The amount of hotels and other places that are like, yeah, we've got disabled accessible rooms that turn out not to be.
Yeah.
All it is a wider door frame to get the wheelchair in the room, but once you're in it, it's a bog standard, you know.
Yeah, it's not completely adaptive. It's just kind of lip service.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which is all they need to do to comply with the law, sadly.
Yeah. That doesn't surprise me at all.
It
They're
kind
probably
of
like,
bugs.
"Oh, I don't want to spend more money than I have to," which I get it in business, but at the same time, it's a scummy thing to do.
I mean, I get it as well that, you know, not every room can be fitted for every disability.
Sorry, one sec. Oop. Yeah.
But
I'm just gonna farm these for like materials because I really.
but it's just like you haven't even tried, and it shows.
Yeah.
And yet they're awfully scared of you suing them afterwards.
Oh yeah. But they'd rather take the risk of you maybe suing than them having to actually spend money.
Yeah, because I remember I went up to Gloucestershire to see my aunt for that murder mystery weekend.
Vaguely.
I slipped and fell in the hotel bathroom. The amount of, "Oh my God, sir, are you okay, sir? We're so sorry, sir."
So that ends like, there's the risk of suing, but they're probably hoping for the fact that, you know, if they give you a free room token, you just accept it because it's technically worth something, but it doesn't really cost them anything per se.
Well, yes, but the thing is, I'm the sort of person that I'll hold my hands up and say, I should have been more careful myself and reported it before I attempted it. I take half responsibility, so I won't sue you, but at the same time, I'll register a complaint.
Yeah. If it was better adapted, it wouldn't have been a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is what it is, I guess.
Because, you know, I was brought up to take responsibility for my own actions.
If only everybody was.
Not by my parents, by the people I hung out with.
I mean, in general, you know. Like, you hear those, like...
Even colder in the claim, I'd wager.
Yeah, I
you hear
mean,
those
there was
stories of those conservatives in the US, it's like,
Don't get me started, because I was following a law case recently where a gentleman sued an RV company because he put the RV on cruise control on the motorway.
Right.
Went into the back of the van to make a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Obviously, it crashed.
No sign of Marat's guy? He's had plenty of time to investigate.
We'd better look for him.
Damn right.
Are you in the cutscene, are you?
It finished when the dialogue finished.
Right.
So yeah, it's up to date. So he then sued the RV company because it didn't steer itself.
It's not auto drive, it's cruise control. Like, he clearly doesn't know what the fuck that means.
And then there was another gentleman in America who sued the church because the church wouldn't allow him to marry a Barbie doll.
That's just weird. But
Right?
at the same time, it's like there's no sort of how do I put this?
There's no law against it.
No, there's no sort of issue with consent when it comes to inanimate objects.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. But it was the fact that he sued, and in both cases they won.
Yeah.
And it's like, how?
Yeah.
What happened to taking responsibility for your own actions?
I don't know if I need to find specific vendors for some of this. Because I know for this luminous braiding, like I can trade it for stuff. We double check.
I think for some of it, it is specific vendors, because they're different factions, aren't they?
Yeah. Maybe it's outfits. More lens. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Okay. So that's electricity, fire. That one is just mods. That one is stealth. That'd be a good one.
You've also got to be careful not to use up too many of your shards, otherwise you won't be able to recraft your arrows.
I thought shards were just for purchasing. Let me double check actually. Ooh.
I'm pretty sure they're also the arrowheads, from what I remember.
Let me take a look in crafting. Yeah, you're right, but I've got loads.
I know, it's just a warning in general.
Sure.
Because the amount of times I ran out.
Yeah. For me, like, I'm getting issues with, like, stuff for making special arrows. Which is the annoying thing for me.
Like running out of blaze, etc.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Because there just aren't many drops for it, are there?
Well, that's why I had to buy some from the vendor.
Right?
Like, look, I need more tear blasts, and I had to like buy a load. Need to mod my outfit.
So the Chinese and Korean governments have started making animes of the cultivation mangas.
That does not surprise me. They are pretty popular. Like the idea of being able to improve yourself, like by training your body.
Yeah, but the problem for me with them is that it's all sort of CGI.
I find that a lot of the problem tends to be for me that it is really badly translated.
Well, that too.
Personally,
But for me, it's the case of the animation style seems to be a mixture of so many different things at once
yeah,
that it actually hurts my eyes to watch.
yeah,
Because they sort of mix 2D and 3D
right,
with computer rendering, and it's like, whoa,
yeah,
pick one and stick with it, please.
yeah.
But then again, because the chapters are so short, the episodes are only like 11 minutes.
Okay, yeah.
So it's not like it's not watchable. It just seems odd that they do it for 11 minutes, because when you think how much the production costs would be.
Well, it makes it cheaper by the fact that it is shorter. Does that make sense?
I guess.
Like,
'Cause
it
it's,
doesn't cost as much if you're making it shorter, basically. It's what
I'm assuming because you're not paying them per hour.
yeah, I mean, yeah.
Let's not go into the government side of that.
It's not even the government side, yeah, it's just in general, like paying for labour and whatnot.
It just,
It's pretty hard.
for me, who's grown up with like 45-minute episodes of similar things,
But like,
it
even
doesn't
in the
seem worth it.
Even in the West, though, cartoons are typically like 20, 30 minutes. Like, if you look at like, Avatar and whatnot,
Yeah.
like, that is always...
Well,
been the
someone
case.
left here recently, and they were in a hurry.
But then again, I found a Japanese anime earlier that was only 5 minutes long per episode.
I mean, is it an
But then
episode
it's-
at that point? It's more like a sketch show by the sound of it.
Right.
Like, have you seen a series called Astartes?
I've heard of it, but not
Oh,
seen
mate,
it.
it's so good. Go on YouTube. It's basically a short CG film set in the Warhammer 40k universe,
Right.
and it's got like proper like Hollywood production values, but the episodes are fairly short because the team's minuscule.
Right,
It's
yeah.
so good, man. It's even better than the stuff that's actually by. Sorry, 1 second.
Has to be Murad's guy. Dervahl's thugs must have made him.
Maybe because he found something. Look at this. I think he drew a map with his own blood.
Right. Those kind of maps you know you better follow.
That might be Pitchcliff. He marked a spot to the north. Could be Dervahl's location.
My men are waiting outside of town. I'll grab them and meet you there.
Sorry, yeah. Yeah, like if you give it a go, there's a compilation of like all of the episodes like in one sitting.
Yeah.
It's so good, man. Like if you've not seen it, you really need to. I cannot
The best
emphasize that enough.
the best way I can describe the sort of Korean Chinese art style in these is similar to Ruby, but
Okay,
um,
I like Ruby.
more you know, like Black, what was it, Black Desert Online style.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Like, Ruby's pretty stylized, whereas Black Desert's kind of trying to be realistic.
Yeah, well, they kind of mix the two together.
Hardy little plant.
Which is why I say it's so uncomfortable for my eyes.
Yeah.
But the thing for me is that, like Ruby, even though the animation is smooth,
Yeah.
it still looks disjointed.
Okay.
During combat scenes, for example.
Okay. Disjointed. And
It looks to me like it's not flowing as smoothly as it could.
right.
Say, like in a cartoon-style anime would.
Okay.
That's not to say it's bad. It's just, you know, I
It's just
prefer
something
the.
off. Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell it's not as well paced as it could be.
Yeah. Oh man.
But then I get why it's done because it's stop motion essentially.
You shouldn't be.
I mean, in the way you draw it, isn't it? In CAD.
Is it? If it's either CG or it's drawn. Like, it's one or the other typically.
Yeah, but even when you render the wire baskets in CAD, it's still similar to the stop motion process.
Yeah, but you can set the amount of frames so you can get more in between.
Right. Sorry, I
can
didn't know
speak,
that.
I can speak to you about like the technicalities in regards to the two because I did animations. You know.
Yeah, well, that's why I
My
brought the
Bachelor of Arts.
subject up because I thought it might interest you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was either that or another 2 hours on Freemasonry.
Yeah, that's true. So I can obviously talk to you about the intricacies, but like when it comes to doing animation in 3D, like it's a lot easier because you can set it so that like a motion takes so many frames. Typically,
Yeah,
you
but
would
then
do it
again-
for 24 because that's the minimum you need for it to actually look right.
Yeah.
But obviously with stuff like, for example, this video game, you can set it to higher so it can be like 60 frames.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
whereas
having
if
trouble tracking her walking at the moment.
Yeah, whereas like with hand-drawn animation, it's a lot more of a pain in the ass because you've got to draw 60 frames and that's like 1 second.
Yeah.
Machines. Looks like they've been chained up.
Dervahl's a tinker. He probably experiments on them or strips them for parts.
Maybe I can use them to make some trouble. I'll go in first. Hold off until the fighting starts.
All right, we've got your back.
So, yeah,
I don't know what's worse, the fact that it's her doing everything or the fact she's manually volunteering to do it.
yeah, I mean...
It's like you got that heavily armed guy with the club right there.
yeah.
But oh no, the I don't want to call her frail, but you know, the lightly armoured bow wielder.
To be fair, she is Nora, so they're like in universe like badass.
I'm not saying she isn't, but by comparison, you think the guy with the heavier gear would be the better.
I guess it's a lot harder to stealth if you have heavy gear.
And get good. But no, because there are times when you're streaming that my eyes hurt and can't quite follow the action
Dervahl's men.
because it's moving too fast.
Yeah.
But I put that down to age rather than... How did it even know you were there? I could barely see you.
I think it's because, like, maybe I accidentally shot it or something.
I don't know, but I'm there like, I could barely see the top of your head.
I'll just shoot it, I guess.
do ranged attacks now?
This Colossus chicken. Revenge of the Chicken.
Because there was a time when I thought about doing animation myself.
Oh shit, he's dead.
And CAD.
Yeah.
To be honest, I love computers,
Yeah.
but it was so complicated.
It can be, yeah. I mean, it's a lot of getting used to how to do stuff.
Not to mention needing certain mathematical equations in. But don't forget, this was years ago.
Come on.
It's probably been simplified since then.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's just knowing how to use the program, and, like, knowing how to make it look certain ways.
Yeah, and frankly, our instructor wasn't very good at teaching.
Yeah, there's a lot of those.
He made it more confusing than it needed to be.
That doesn't me at all whatsoever.
Can't you ride it?
No, not this one. This one's a graphic one. There
Ah,
are two that you can.
I was gonna say, because I want one. Giant badass war tiger robot. Who wouldn't want one? Is it a good idea to do that? Because then you'd be fighting two at once, wouldn't you?
Well, I'm already anyway.
Well, then you don't really want a third, do you?
Great, like,
I was hoping for a system a bit like in Assassin's Creed, where if you let them out of the cage, they turn on each
yeah.
other.
Maybe I should have done it.
But alas, robots are smart. I was just, you know, thinking back to,
Yeah.
it was only sort of 10-20 years ago when
On its way.
graphics like this would have been a dream.
Oh yeah. This would have been like pre-rendered.
If you'd have told me that video game would have this kind of graphics in the sort of late 90s, early 2000s, I'd have laughed at you.
Nah. Oh my god. Let's try that.
Back on my 1.66 megahertz processor with my 250 megabyte hard drive that was the giant drive, you know,
Yeah.
playing the old Command & Conquer on MS-DOS.
I remember, maybe not like the original CNC, but like, I remember the first time we got kind of like a gaming computer was like, I played Tiberian Sun.
Ah, one of my favourites.
Fucking love that game.
I tried to replay it recently because I bought the anthology on Origin,
Yeah,
and it glitches itself.
yeah.
Sometimes when you download the game, it won't play because its license file gets corrupted, so it thinks you've got a pirated copy.
Weird.
So every time you try and play it, the bases blow themselves up.
Weird.
So you then have to re-download the game to fix it.
Duval's men.
Looks like he needs to fight.
It's about to get ugly.
Or, in the case of the original Command & Conquer, I had to wait for the, you know, the remaster did recently. Because when you tried to play Command and Conquer 1 on, you know, the the original anthology they had, if your processor was like ours are nowadays, the game would run so fast that it would be game over in about 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Because everything was running at turbo speed.
Yeah, I mean, like, I seem to remember, like, a lot of the games pre-built were pretty much like that.
Yeah. And you just think, surely there must be a way on newer technology to limit itself.
There is. You have to go into, like, system settings, timeline, things like that. It's a pain in the ass. It's a massive pain in the ass, but you can. Which is why, like...
But you'd think there'd be a way for it to automatically detect it.
Well, that would mean, like, having to... programming it, essentially. Because it's a product of its time.
Yeah,
So
no,
obviously, like, it wasn't expecting, you know, a processor that's, like, 20 times more powerful
anything better
than
to
the
do?
current tech.
I mean, to be fair, I recently got DOSBox to play some of the classic 8-bit games.
Yeah.
You know, like murder mystery RPGs that they did back then. Because they are where we get most of our modern day ideas of like adaptive storytelling and stuff like that from. Because these older games, and Lord knows how they did it, procedurally generated the killer.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So each time you'd play it, it would be someone different with a different murder weapon.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, there's only so much replayability you can get,
Yeah.
because there's a fixed number of outcomes.
Yeah.
It's still, in my mind, a lot better than some of the modern games because it randomizes.
Well, it's kind of like...
Move in.
There are board games where it's just the murderer becomes, like, random and approved.
Yeah, like Cluedo and things like that. Yeah. And the thing is that I was so excited about, I think it was called Heavenly Blade or Heavenly Sword, because it was supposed to be adaptive AI
Was it?
that adapted to your playstyle.
Used to be.
So if you were good, it got harder. If you were bad, it got easier. At least that's what they marketed it as.
Right.
I didn't actually get very far in it when I bought it because somebody stole my PS3 at the time and the games, and I was gutted when 2 months later I found out that my PS3 that got nicked is now worth a fortune.
Why?
Because it was one of the first 60 gig ones that were backwards compatible.
Yeah.
I literally bought it on day one release.
So long now.
Which was also really expensive.
Yeah, it was 520 quid at the time.
Yeah, but they did stop that package.
You're going
Yeah,
down.
that's why it's worth a fortune now. I'd actually taken out a bank loan for about £2,000 at the time. Used 1,500 on a new PC, and then used what was left on the PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
So I was absolutely gutted that I was paying back money for something I no longer had.
Yeah.
But it was the only way I could afford it at the time.
Shoot you with my.
And of course, the PC merchant completely ripped me off as well, massively overcharging me for not very much. Because I was stupid and I went, here's £1,500, give me what you can. rather than going in there with a specific, you know,
Or shopping around.
yeah. Because they were the only people I'd known who did custom PCs. It was PC Doctor that used to be in the bar game.
Right. I remember.
No wonder that.
there was what was it? There was a PC place near the Eastleigh next to Diamond.
Yeah,
Yeah, and they were like a rip-off as well.
I'll go on to those in a minute. I just want to finish about PC World
Yeah.
first. PC Doctor, even not PC World. So when I went to try and get some of my money back,
Yeah.
guess what? They closed down.
Shocker. Yeah.
So even their warranty wasn't honoured. So I'd spent $1,500 on basically a paperweight.
You think like there must be some sort of like watchdog that can help you, or would have?
Yeah, but at the time I was only like 18 years old and I didn't know very much.
Yeah.
Now I'm a lot more savvy on that sort of thing because I've been con so many times. But no, I went into the iStore with a friend's computer
Yeah.
that I broke deliberately. My friend knew I was doing it.
Yeah.
We basically wanted to see how trustworthy they were. Yeah. So basically all we did was disconnect one of the wires on the motherboard.
Yeah. Yeah.
A simple enough and quick enough fix.
Yeah.
It would have only taken 2.5 minutes and it would have worked. The sales guy told us we needed to buy a brand new motherboard. So needless to say, we never went back. There's another shop in Eastleigh that sells computer parts and does repairs as well.
Yeah.
Called ISL Office.
I know that one.
It's near the British Heart Foundation and the hotel that they've built there.
Oh right. Okay. On the upper end. Yeah. Like near the.
Yeah,
train station?
near the pub we used to go to.
Yeah, near the train station.
For yeah. They are overpriced, but they do what they say on the tin.
I don't think I so rarely go up to that part. Like,
I mean, I can't really use them much because they've got step. So I can't even get step.
alright,
So I can't even get into their shop. But they'll serve me on the street, which is a bit humiliating.
yeah.
But it's better than nothing.
Yeah, I don't think I know much about that side. I never go to, like, I'm always in Eastleigh proper, like Swansea, rather.
Oh yeah, the only reason I know about them is because it was right next to where I lived.
Oh yeah.
So when I needed a computer repaired, they was the easiest way to carry a heavy computer.
Yeah.
Rather than going all the way down the alleyway with it. Plus less likely to get mugged.
Well, I was Eastleigh. Either way, it kind of seems like it's likely to get mugged.
Yeah, but now I've got a friend who will probably do it.
Probably.
Well, I say probably because every time I've asked him, he's like, it's easier for you to go here instead.
Yeah. They don't bother me.
Right?
Yeah.
But then I know why he's saying that, and because he basically buys all the parts there himself.
Yeah.
So he's like cut out the middleman and just get it direct from the supplier.
Yeah, yeah. I get it.
Because he knows that I know what I'm doing, I just need to buy, you know.
One sec. There's that. audio weapon.
Derval says you gotta eat dirt.
Derval can eat a bag of dicks. Not a great hiding spot.
Here's Duval.
Yeah, right.
This is
Whoops. That was not the right one to use.
This just reminds me of the dubstep gun.
Yeah.
But no, he basically he's just like, this is where I buy the parts
Yeah.
from anyway, so you might as well just get them to put it together for you.
Yeah.
It will save you more money than me buying the parts and you then paying
can see
me
them.
for labour.
They can't see you.
Yeah.
So I get it.
I mean, you know what you're doing. Yeah, not well.
Yeah. Because you know the only bits I struggle with.
Ursa must be in there. We have to get through.
Do we though? Sounds like a you problem.
Oh, he's still blinking. That was weird.
Glitch?
They must use
Maybe.
these to protect themselves from that awful sound.
Or is she so cruel that she's gonna just let him...
Oh no,
Suffer.
there's a button to switch it off.
No, I meant the blinking.
Yeah, yeah. It's gonna let you bleed
It's like
out.
you... Yeah, exactly. I could have been merciful.
Oh shit.
Ursa!
Torturing someone.
His
Wait.
wife?
No, sister.
Same difference
Aaron?
Derval
in
tried
these
to
sort of
break me.
games.
Shows what he knows.
I should have been with you. Why didn't you come for me? I know I'm a useless trunk, but
No, idiot. I got a message from Derval saying he wanted to parlay. I didn't come for you because I knew it was a trap. I couldn't let you get hurt. Just didn't think it'd be that good a trap. Thought I could take him out.
Sorry, every time I hear someone say parlay, I
Now
think
listen.
of Pirates of the Caribbean.
Derval's planning something big in Meridian. He said he'd force Avad to watch as the smoke darkens their precious sun. Your king needs you. No more playing around. You're gonna have to grow up fast.
I will. I promise.
You damn well better, little brother.
Plot twist, he's only 17.
Ursa. No, no.
Poor guy.
Please. I won't let you down. I promise.
But at least he got to say goodbye.
I don't know, is that more cruel?
Aaron, I'm so sorry.
In a way, yes.
You've got to
and no.
find Derval.
Because he already thought
The
she was
Meridian's
dead.
a big place.
I'll look through his things. Maybe we can narrow it down.
Hey.
Just notes about
I wonder where the loot is.
and a letter tucked between the pages. Lots of blaze.
Alright, let's use some. Modify. Have any fire ones? Just freeze. Use some. Let's see, was it? Ropecaster. Doesn't really need tear. So this one is fire resist.
It's radiant. If we find it, I'll bet we find Dervahl too.
So that wasn't the Vol we
His
killed?
machines
No,
can picked apart
it was
with
some-
precision.
Underling.
What's Dervahl learned from all his tinkering? Do I even want to know?
Wait, is Duval the guy with the focus from the proving?
No, so that's an underling as well. And he's the guy that you see is Shadow Carja.
Right. Sorry, it's been a
I
while.
think I found
That's
something
cool.
that can help. Let's head back to the palace.
Go. I won't be long, but I need to tend to my sister.
Alright. Oh yeah.
But, I know I'm a huge hypocrite when I say this. But people who have to buy all the latest tech when it's released confuse me.
Yeah, I mean, if you can afford it, great. But,
I was about to say, I know I'm probably going to turn into that guy.
I just mean
if
like,
I could afford it.
yeah, if you can afford it, great. But like, don't leverage like borrowing to do it.
That hurts, man.
Well, I just mean like, you know what I mean though, like.
Yeah, no, but I also remember you and your Nebuchadnezzar
Yeah, yeah,
and your loan.
yeah. Like,
So we all do it.
but like, I mean, it probably sounds horrible. Like the stuff that I'm buying, I can afford it because I get paychecks, you know.
Oh, ouch.
I don't mean you don't. I just mean
Straight
like,
in my pride, man.
I haven't taken a loan out strictly for a PC.
No, I get what you mean. It's more spreading the costs rather than
Yeah.
getting a loan out. The trouble is, even though a disability paycheck is a guaranteed income compared to your job, it's not seen as income.
Yeah.
So they don't factor it when running the checks for that kind of thing.
Right.
Because it's
I
a
guess it could
state
change at
benefit.
any time. Yeah.
Never know when
Because, believe it or not, state benefits nowadays are temporary.
Well, I think it's because like it's not guaranteed. Not that a job is guaranteed per se, but like 1 minute your benefits could be so much, the next it could be reduced. Like
Well, yeah, I mean, look at what they've done to me over the last year.
that's what I mean. Like,
But when it's there for good. It's just getting it there in the first place. Because they've now got, under the new system, PIP and ESA expires,
yeah.
despite the fact that my disability will never change.
Well, it's their assessment on the severity of your condition is what changes.
I'm
Does
not
that make
gonna
sense?
lie. Yeah, I mean, I was wrong. It does change. It gets worse.
Yeah.
My disability's never gonna get better, is what I mean. I'm gonna be quiet for a minute. I'm assuming you've run out of armor piercing.
No, the one I'm using is armor piercing.
Right.
Mother, stop that. You stay still.
It's like it knew you were getting more ammo.
Well, I mean, like, I'm trying to aim for those, freezer spots.
The white bits, yeah?
Yeah.
The blue I can't quite.
Let me jab the other
How about riding one of these in battle?
It'd be like, Avatar. Last Airbender. No, not Last Airbender. James Cameron Avatar. Where you ride that, like, Jake Sully rides that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I can't remember what they called them.
Big ass bitch.
This'll help.
Oh.
Keep wanting to call them racks, but that's what Borderlands calls them.
Yeah, it is.
But they're essentially the same creature, aren't they?
Robots.
Right on target.
What about that new weapon you got? Can you not use that on it?
Which one?
That weird gun thing. Or do you not get to keep that gun from the other
No,
guy?
it's a pickup one. Find a way.
I would say a snarky comment, but I know damn well I can't aim any better than you.
There we go. God, how many plates?
Enough to feed the Royal Army.
Yeah, each plate. Can you just stay there? I mean, I get it. Can you not?
At least this game doesn't do what other games do.
Which is?
I've lost count the amount of times I'm fighting something as hard as this,
Okay.
and then we'll be spreading out over the battlefield because
Yeah.
I'm dodging or whatever,
Yeah,
like you
yeah.
are. And then it will go out of the territory, so the thing will fly back
Reset.
to where it
Yeah.
started and reset. And I'm like, what?
Get all its health back. Like, that's infamous, isn't it?
And yet I'll still be as weak as a kitten, you know.
Yeah, that's where, like... Ah,
But it's like they could at least warn me that I'm going out of the area and that that's going to happen, you know?
shit.
Because I'm not paying attention to where I'm going, I'm just moving away from
Yeah.
the, you know?
Yeah, no, I get that. There goes armor piercing.
What do you mean?
I've got 4 armor piercing arrows left.
And I'm assuming you don't have
Parts.
crafting
Nope.
material?
Handy?
Well, I'll come visit your grave.
Well, I've got super potions.
Jeez, of crows. Not only has it got like 19 million plates, but they barely take any damage.
Yeah, and like fire doesn't seem very overly effective either. I mean, counting with fire arrows and like it's barely overheating.
And even the EMP blast doesn't seem to last very long.
There we go. He's on
Only took about 1 million arrows.
Hey, there we go. Finally dead. Jesus.
This is where its mother turns up.
Should have brought a cart.
But yeah, it's just a pet peeve of mine that they don't mark the area.
Yeah.
Let you know you're going out of bounds.
Yeah.
It's not like I would have gone that way if I'd known, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of part of the issue is that, like, you don't know how far is too far when it comes to MMOs. Like, it happens quite a lot in, I think, like, Final Fantasy as well. Like,
I was gonna say,
you would like be doing like a timed quest or whatever, and the quest would just finish, and then you would be attacking something, and it would finish, and then you suddenly got like right, what's the point I'm trying to make?
you'd fail.
You'd attack a mob, the quest finishes and it starts running away, but you're still in combat, which gets well annoying.
But then in Final Fantasy VIII,
Yeah.
the more you level up, the harder the rest of the game gets.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean...
When usually you're leveling up to overcome the harder part.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like, why am I even doing this?
Yeah, yeah.
Might as well just stay at level 1.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I forget what games there are, but there are New Game Pluses where they give you an item. I think Final Fantasy 15 did it. You wear a ring and it prevents the person from being able to level up.
Right.
For like the hardcore gamers out there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember that for Final Fantasy 15.
It may not have been 15 though. I just remember that Noxus had something.
Yeah.
But then I never really finished 15.
No.
I wanted to like it.
I finished it. I just,
Glintock's
like,
attacking. I'd better see if I can help.
didn't do everything. Like, I completed...
Because I got up to the part where you got to take the ferry.
I remember it.
And then just got bored.
That happened.
I just haven't been bothered to go back since.
I
There's
was gonna,
better
like,
games.
get the PC edition, but I was like, I'll just do it.
Yeah, I kind of bought the Xbox edition one, pre-ordered it.
I
Because it was
completed
the
it on
first.
PlayStation when that was the only thing I had, so...
Because it was the first game that was exclusive. You know, first Final Fantasy to be fully Xbox.
Yeah.
And I got it on the PlayStation. As my Xbox got stolen.
Happens a lot, doesn't it?
Roommates, that's all I'm gonna say.
I did say you were a bad judge of character. You're my friend, right?
I know, but I was desperate.
Yeah. No, I get it.
And then I bought it on PC when it came out on PC because my PlayStation had been stolen. I was like, right,
I like 15, but I don't like it that much that I want to buy it.
Whereas I was like, for once I just don't want it to be stolen.
Yeah. Can't steal it if it's on my Steam. Like, your account got hacked. Oh, fuck.
Don't tempt me, jeez. No, I'm pretty sure I can recover the Steam by setting my passport or something. Prove identity,
Like, oh, look,
but
it's changed my my currency has changed to rubles.
that, funny you should mention it, I was about to mention that. My Ubisoft account did get hacked by a Russian.
I seem to remember you saying.
Luckily Ubisoft restored it all to me. But yeah, it got hacked by some Russian dude who tried to buy stuff on my card. I'm perennially broke, so that went down well, didn't it?
Yeah.
But to be frank, I don't understand why there are so many different platforms out there for PC.
It's because everybody wants their own wants to make money.
Why can't they work out a deal where they sell it on the same?
Because if they own it, anything that sells on it, they get a cut. Yep, you there? You still there? Yeah, that was weird.
But you see, that just puts me off. Because my entire game library is spread out over 5 different things.
Oh, don't get me wrong, I don't disagree, but like, it doesn't change the fact that like, people want to get a cut of the work that other people do.
Fight from behind cover.
Oh yeah, no, sorry, I get it. It just pisses me off.
Oh yeah.
It's like one of the main reasons I like Steam the way that I do, which isn't very much in general.
Just because they're the best. Ultimately,
Yeah. You know, I have many issues with Steam that aren't
I better speak to whoever's in charge.
major issues, but it's still minor gripes.
yeah.
For example, their constant sales.
I mean, that's only bad on you if you don't have self-control. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm really bad with self-control as well,
Shut up, Zach.
but... You know it's true, though.
No, it's more the lack of advertising when certain things are on sale.
Fair.
Because the amount of times I bought a game that would be on sale the next week when if they just advertised that it was about to go on sale,
Yeah,
I'd have waited.
yeah, no, I get that.
So that's what I mean by minor gripes. Something that won't necessarily stop me using it, but at the same time annoys me enough to be noticeable.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Plus, there's this, like, currency stuff they give you now.
What?
I've got, like, 8,000 Steam points, and all I can do with it is buy a new picture or an emote. I'm like, no, I want money off games.
Of course they're not going to do that, because, like, pictures and emotes are free.
But what I mean is, it's like, well, if you spend 40 quid, you get 400 points. Why can't I use that to buy Steam vouchers? And have it as, like, a loyalty program? You get what I mean?
I get where you're coming from, yeah.
Because, I mean, even Harvester and places like that do that.
To a point. I don't know which ones because, like, I've been selling stuff, right? But I'm like, I don't know which of these lenses or whatnot I need for items.
Pass. Because it's
like,
different per seller.
I don't think, well, it is to a point, but it isn't as well. Like, there's this.
Yeah.
Which I think I bought. No, I haven't. I got that one. Right. Like Shell Walker, Watcher, Strider, Luminous.
This is why you need a button that's like in Star Wars, that's like sell all junk.
That's what I mean. Like, I need to, like, keep my shards, but I need more shards. Like, I don't know, like... Got it. Alright, I'm gonna sell... I'm gonna keep that. Keep that. That's, that. You know what? I will sell these and I'll worry about it later. I know I need that for stuff. Merchants, Bean Core, merchant, merchant. The rest are fine. Sell marked items. Yeah, see, like, I had some. I need a trampler, I need a sawtooth. I need a sawtooth heart, main thing. Actually, let's buy more crafting stuff.
Because that was one thing I liked about Far Cry 3. Was that it showed you on the map where the hunting areas were.
I mean, it does for this, but it's like... It would be great if I can just sell stuff that are technically junk.
Yeah.
You know.
So you knew what was junk and what wasn't,
Absolutely,
essentially.
yeah, exactly that. Treasure box. Where is it? It was that one. Right, I need foxes. Weird it doesn't show, like, biological animals.
Oh, what? For bones and pelts and...
Or like bags. I need them to craft bags.
So you can carry more stuff.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm gonna walk the way down because I need to fill up my fucking herbs. And what annoys me as well is the animals in settlements are invincible. So I'm just waiting for
I
those.
didn't know.
Yeah. There's a clip of me, like, in the previous run, well, in the previous, like, playthrough, where, like, I am just shooting this boar that belongs to a settlement. I'm just wasting, like, friggin' arrows because it's invincible.
Wow.
Yeah, that annoyed me.
You'd have thought after the first few arrows you'd have
I was
worked
like,
it out.
well, it was like protruding off them, so kind of like you shoot them
Can't be too
normally.
prepared.
Yeah.
But like, it just didn't die. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, I guess he's invincible. You know, I thought that might have been a Nick or something. Yeah, so that was annoying. Waste a couple of normal arrows, but hey.
Well, it could be worse. You could be Ginger. Oh, wait.
I know. She's redhead because she's hot.
And what's that supposed to mean?
You tell me.
One of these days, quarantine will be over.
Yeah. It's fine, I'll buy you lunch.
Did I hear the words free?
Yeah, right. I heard. Food. Yeah.
No, even I admit that red-headed women tend to be quite gorgeous, and a lot of red-headed men, myself included, look like we've been dragged through a hedge backwards. And you just think,
I'm
how?
sure they exist. I've just yet to beat one, you know.
Right?
Is that a sawtooth?
And all I can think is, how the heck did my ancestor...
Yeah, right. No, trampler. Okay. I need a sawtooth. Yeah, wait. Shell walker. I think I need a shell walker heart as well. Alright. Time to...
the biggest lie ever told. Yes, I will buy.
issue by...
WinZip or WinRAR.
That was a really funny short where it's like, really funny actually. There was this really funny short where it's like this empty office building, and then suddenly like this fax comes along, and it looked like this guy that was about to jump off, and he's like, wait, like grabbing that fax and then running to the person. And basically it's like someone actually bought a WinZip license.
I'll do what I have to.
Thing is, if it wasn't so expensive, I would buy it.
Ooh, I'm
Hang
mad.
on.
Jesus.
Let me see here a minute. Because I got it open at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, just downloading some mods for a game.
Yeah. What game?
Sims 4.
Need
I
them soon enough.
bought Valheim recently. I thought I might jump on the bandwagon at one point.
And yet when I suggested we get that to play together because it's multiplayer, you said, oh, I'm not interested in it.
Well, I don't know whether I'm going to stream it though.
Yeah, it doesn't mean we have to stream it, we can just play it together.
Like, I got Loop Hero recently, and I've been playing that off stream, not sure.
I've heard about it, but
Really fun.
don't know much.
And it's like 30 megabytes.
Okay.
It's a pixel style one. But it's pretty
How
cool.
much was it?
I think it's like 15 quid.
Not bad. Not bad.
Yeah. Should I teleport? Yeah.
Right, so it is that much, which in real money
is
is...
happened here?
What
It's
do you
30
think?
euros.
I better speak
It's
to
not too
whoever's in
bad.
charge.
What will we do now?
Who is in charge?
Yeah, but I want to know what it is in our money. 25 quid for WinRAR.
That's not too bad, all things considered.
Yeah, but
Considering how
you
much
know,
you use it.
yeah, but that's just it. I only use it to extract things. I don't use it to.
Well, is that not part of the functionality, would you say?
Hey, it's not my fault that people chose that to zip it in.
I mean, that's still one of the functionalities.
Stop being logical.
Like, that's because, like, in fact, that's probably why, right? Like, it's... I mean,
Let me
technically-
pirate in peace.
Oh, yeah. How the fuck am I supposed to get after it?
But no, I'm genuinely serious. If it wasn't so expensive to buy, I'd probably buy it.
I don't know, it costs you, what, like... a takeaway?
Yeah, when I could eat instead.
Well, then save over time.
Listen, I can't even save up for my own computer, let alone...
Sorry, one sec. Death from... there we go. Oh, is this guy?
You just flew in on a rainbow and saved our sorry slags.
Damn right.
Where do you come from?
I heard the Glinthawks attacking. They're scavengers. They don't hunt for sport. What's drawing them here?
Has to be the blasted Karja. If we're in an era of peace, why am I elbow deep in Glinthawk bung? They keep coming in waves.
Has anyone come trying to sell lures? They're devices that attract machines.
Is that real? Is that some sort of Nora joke?
I look like
I'll
I'm
take that
joking.
as a no. Has anything changed that might have lured the Glinthawks? Have you left machine scrap lying around?
No. Us around use our scrap. Not like the Karja. They only keep the pretty parts.
So the Karja have been leaving scrap around.
Here? Never. If a Karja wasted scrap on my watch, I'd pick it up and make him eat it.
Why do you think the Karja have anything to do with the Glinthawks?
We built this outpost to protect against the Karja. Now they're coming here to trade. Fine. Their shards are as good as anyone's.
Ooh.
But everyone knows that they want this place. Come to think of it, they want every place.
But how could the Karja have brought on the Glinthawks?
If I ever get a break from them, I'll see if I can spare a man to follow the trail.
Or you can harm me.
Guaranteed, there's a Karja at the other end.
What exactly do you do here?
As mayor, I order people around. Gotta be playing hammer to get things done. Can't stand those Karja chunks and their flowery talk. But since we helped the Karja get rid of their rotten king, it's been peace and brotherhood and all that dung.
You don't think the peace will last?
Don't have time for peace. I got Karja merchants begging for a discount on the gate tax, and Glinthawks attacking. Which is worse?
Why don't I investigate why the Glinthawks are attacking? You've got your hands full.
Really? No one ever offers to help me. You,
I wonder
you get a
why.
You could say that.
All right then. Let me know what you find. Hammer to steel. A Karja's behind all this.
You're asking if a Nora is good at tracking.
Right?
Sorry, you're
Can
about
you
to say.
stick around after the stream? There's
Yeah.
something I want to talk to you about.
Yeah, sure.
I just got a notification on Facebook for a limited time restaurant that's popping up in Chandler's Ford.
Okay.
I thought you might be interested in,
Yeah.
because they're only going to be open for a limited time.
Oh.
Turn off! Turn off!
What are you doing?
By the sun, it won't turn off.
Damn it.
What is it?
I didn't make it. I scrounged it from a workshop. Whatever it is, ever since it's been on, these Glinthawks have been attacking. I don't know how to make it stop.
Have you tried? Oh wait.
Like that.
Well, that should do it. Now start talking. Why are you scrounging gear you don't even understand?
My customers demand extraordinary pieces best found at the fringes of civilization. My tales of adventure only increase their value. Where others only dare tread, I flourish. No mountain climbs too high that I can't mount it. My trade demands sacrifice.
Including the sacrifice of innocence? Those Glinthawks swooped down and attacked everyone.
I didn't mean for that to happen. I sought only to sate the appetites of rich nobles who never leave their mansions.
You mentioned you found the device in a workshop?
Yes. I camped out atop the snowy eastern ridge. No easy climb even in my best years, but I girded my...
Enough. Were there any other devices at this workshop?
abandoned equipment.
I bet
the
he
likes
was
of
about
which
to
I've
say
never
loins.
seen. A peculiar silo remained impervious to my attempts to open it. As I searched, I wondered how many secrets lie hidden in this world. As we, in our
I'm not a
ignorance,
customer,
go
just
about
tell
our
me.
daily...
Your point?
Oh, no, I didn't see another device.
You know, you and her have a lot in common.
Be there,
Yeah.
waiting.
You mean
to
like
unleash its horror.
impatience for other people's bullshit?
Did you know this whole time that that device was luring Glinthawks?
By the sun, no! I stashed it here for a while, but when I came back, I was nearly beheaded by one of those flying terrors.
This
And
device
how are
is
you
dangerous.
alive?
I have to find that workshop
nearly.
and make sure
They
it's the
missed,
last.
obviously.
Where is it?
On the eastern ridge.
Given the
just
size
beyond
of
my
them.
campsite. But after I descended from the workshop, a cracking above me signaled my doom. I dove into the river
Oh,
mere
God.
moments
Not
before an
again.
avalanche took out the path. You can't reach it.
Somebody
now.
got a dramatic license from somewhere.
Too perilous.
Somebody loves their
I'll
flourishes.
take my chances. You just
I mean,
stay
if
from
it's
that
how he
workshop
sells
and
his
try not to
stuff,
cause
fair
any
enough, but...
Like, who are you, Dandelion? Christ.
Right?
Oh, all the way back there again. Jesus. Alright.
Don't you wish you had fast travel?
I do.
You do wish or you do have fast
I
travel?
do have, hence my teleporting.
If I'm brutally honest, I often forget games like this have fast travelling.
To be fair, it doesn't need one technically, because it's so pretty.
I was about to say, because I get so lost in the
Yeah.
environment, that I'm like, I'm actually okay with going the long way.
Yeah. To a point where you just want to complete it, though.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Okay, let's get on with it now.
It was like the other day, I knew I was getting near the end of Persona 5.
Save this for the trail.
But then it took another 3 days to do the end part,
Yeah.
which would have only taken about 20 minutes at the beginning of the game, you know. And you're just like, oh, for God's sake, I don't need all this recapping of dialogue every 5 minutes of stuff that has been obvious since the start of the game. What do you mean there's about 3 hours worth of dialogue telling me to continue doing
Well,
what
how
I've
do you
been
think
doing?
I felt about, like, Death Stranding?
Right?
Didn't you tell me about 3 extra hours of content I didn't expect?
Especially when all that extra content is them going, now we need to do exactly what we've done for the entire game. It's like, well, let me get on with it then.
Yeah. Well, we've been over this.
I've spent 91 hours in this game, I know how it works.
Yeah.
Bugger off.
That or like, yes, I figured the system was
So, yeah. Do you fancy buying me an early birthday present in 2 weeks?
It depends
On?
on what it is, how much are you going to ask for later when it actually is your birthday.
Oh, it's like you already know me.
Oh, it's like my happy unbirthday.
Nah, the new Yakuza game. Well, I say new. It's the release on the PC of the last Yakuza game in 2 weeks. Yeah.
Is that not part of Game Pass?
Yes,
Like
but Sorry?
Kiwami is. Like 1,
Yeah,
2...
no, all of them are in the Game Pass. But I'll tell you why I'm buying them out of the Game Pass. Because eventually they do leave the Game Pass.
Really?
Yeah. One of the games I'm currently playing is on its way out of the Game Pass. Be replaced by a different game soon. Because they're only in there for a limited time.
I would have... Well, I guess unless they're like Microsoft.
The only one I don't see going anywhere is No Man's Sky.
I would have thought that was the case for like all of the Microsoft.
Well, yeah, they'll probably stay as well. I just want to guarantee owning Yakuza series because it's as annoying as they get because of the grinding. The stories in them, as in the main plot, are so phenomenal.
Yeah, no, I've been watching a YouTuber play it, well, a Twitch YouTuber play it.
Yeah.
So I'm a fan, but I'm not a fan of the grind.
Yeah. I'm exactly the same way, which is why I use
Trainers?
certain... Well, yeah, not gonna lie. But wouldn't you if it cuts out like 72 hours worth of grinding? Yeah.
I just skip the grind and go, this is good enough.
I mean, you can, but you'll pay for it. Because some of the skills are worth the grind.
Oh, come on.
Did she forget how to swim?
No, she just couldn't get up on the bank.
It's like all she had to do was stand up. It wasn't even deep. Well, the irony of me saying that, eh?
Yeah.
Well, why don't you stand up Hot Wheels if it's so easy?
I'd be like, well, you're under constant attack by giant robots that are designed to kill you. And I think I'd have enough issues at the best of times.
Wait, are the bad guys throwing down smoke bombs?
They're ice, like, projectiles.
So basically dry ice.
Kind of, I guess.
Because of the fog.
Got you.
So, Maid Marian and her Merry Men has appeared on BritBox now.
I don't have a BritBox, but
it's the series we were talking. Oh right, okay.
I know what BritBox is.
No, I meant I was going to say what Maid and her Merry Men was.
Right.
I'd have to leave something
it's
else behind.
basically a retelling of Robin Hood by Tony Robinson.
Right.
And has Danny John Jules, the cat from Red Dwarf, in it.
Right.
As a Rastafarian bard.
Okay.
Because the whole premise is that Robin Hood is a soppy little twit who can't do anything. And the real brains of it all was his girlfriend, Maid Marian.
Right.
And Tony Robinson.
Kind of reminds me of the Merlin series.
Yeah. And Tony Robinson plays the Sheriff of Nottingham.
Right.
And all I can think is, Baldric, I have a cunning plan!
Yeah. I've got so many mobs. Spear damage. Disassemble, I guess.
Avengers disassemble?
Spear damage. That. Tear.
It's because you're meant to use your spear to whack off the plates.
Yeah.
But you don't need to if you've got armor piercing.
Okay.
But will corruption damage work on corrupted robots? Because that kind of seems counterintuitive.
Probably depends. Right, let's save so I don't have to do that again.
So yeah, I was supposed to be having a meeting tomorrow night, but that's been cancelled. So
Yeah. Gonna be about boring stuff.
Stocking up?
It'll be discussing next year, essentially.
As in number
Whether or
of
not-
meetings or like.
Yes, and if I'm going to remain an officer of the lodge. That sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I'm remaining an officer, but what position?
Yeah.
Because technically I should have been junior deacon this year,
Yeah.
senior deacon next year.
Right.
But I'm obviously still in a guard at the moment because we haven't met for over a year.
Yeah.
So am I going to be fast-tracked to keep in line with where I should be? Or am I going to have to repeat another year?
I mean, weren't you frustrated that you were going too fast anyway?
Well, yes and no.
That was weird.
Here's the Scroungers
Should it not be
campsite,
based on
so
that?
the workshop can't be far. If I can
I
find
mean,
a
I
way to manage.
ultimately decide if I accept it.
Right.
But the reason I've been accepting it is because I don't want them to then think that next time they want to offer me something, I'm not going to put the effort in,
Right.
sort of thing. The trouble is, the positions I'm currently supposed to be taking are very physical,
Right.
which I obviously can't do.
Yeah.
So it seems pointless putting me in that position.
Right.
Whereas the ones after the ones that I'm currently supposed to be doing,
Right.
which are the wardens, all you're doing as a warden is sitting down.
Yeah, yeah.
So that would be ideal for me, and skip the one where I have to physically walk around the room guiding the candidate.
Okay.
You see what I mean? It seems counterintuitive.
Fish? What the fuck? Where's fish?
Kill fish.
I have to worry about it in a bit. Sorry.
Snow chill. Itches.
I'm assuming there's either some sort of fishing or you
Probably have to shoot it with a bow.
swim in the river and... Well, I would say more swimming and spearing. Because arrows lose velocity when they hit the water.
Maybe.
I'm just going based off of other video games. So yeah, my role as junior deacon, for example, is to guide the candidate who's blindfolded, by the way,
Right.
around the room. Now, how am I supposed to hold on to the candidate, push the wheelchair, and hold the staff of office?
Yeah. It's weird that they would give you that role knowing you're disabled.
Well, I've been given it because it's tradition. You know, you work your way up in each seat. It can be bypassed, though. There are precedents. But I don't see my lodge doing me any favours. You know what I mean? I don't mean it in a nasty way, but they're pretty tone deaf when it comes to that sort of thing. Yes, so the meeting will take place later than originally planned.
Yeah.
Because the guy who's running the meeting won't be there. Sorry?
If anything, side of things.
Yeah, well, the advantage is once I'm the master of the lodge, I never have to do it again. But yeah, they want to do it the week after this week. So the 19th, sorry, 16th instead.
Yeah. Was there a reason they cancelled?
Yes.
Yeah.
Guy, I did just say the guy who's holding the meeting can't make it. Because he's busy in a different meeting.
Couldn't he be replaced?
He's the master of the lodge, the person that runs it all.
So yes.
I mean, you're technically not wrong. Because that's what the senior warden and the director of ceremonies is for.
Yeah. I mean, what does a master do anyway?
I couldn't possibly comment on the grounds that I might
be in that position at one point. Well, you know what they say, like, no cog's irreplaceable, right?
Oh, don't we just know it?
And I use cog deliberately.
Yeah, no, I'd spotted that. I can neither confirm nor deny. Isn't it always the way that if you're correct, they'll say you can't confirm nor deny? Because if you're wrong, they'll just outright deny it?
Yeah, pretty much. It's like how only, even though technically it's not the case, how only the guilty plead the fifth, because otherwise you don't need to.
Right. Exactly.
They just deny.
That's exactly why they turn around and say, you know, that makes you look guilty.
Yeah.
Even though it's your constitutional right, it's still
You've always
dodgy
pled
as...
the fifth, then I get it.
Yeah. But if you started answering questions and then suddenly switched to I plead the fifth...
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone knows that that means that they're right. And the trouble is, in a trial, you can't use it because it's their constitutional right not to answer.
Yeah.
Even though that in itself is evidence.
It's still weird though, like...
Because it's the constitutional right against self-incrimination, which means that they are guilty.
Like, you're not incriminating yourself if you're not guilty.
Yeah.
Oh shit, there's another big ass fucking...
It's the same with the police and using no comment here in England. When I've been arrested, I've not done no comment, even though it's the wisest thing to do, because I know damn well that that will make me more questionable than being honest.
If you started with no comment, then I get it.
I mean, I admit I've been incredibly lucky in terms of my legal situation where I've been able to present a reasonable enough argument that they could see they were wrong.
But like, I don't know, policeman. Just
Yeah. I mean, I remember, I probably told you this already, I don't know if I mentioned it on stream or not, but I moved into the place I was living before here. And I went out to the cinema one night. And when I came out the cinema and was walking home, I got stopped by a policeman. They'd broken down my front door because I wasn't answering the door. And they thought I was in trouble.
Oh, right, okay.
And I'm like, did you even check to see if I was home
Yeah.
before breaking down my door?
Yeah. Kind of a
Did you
big
even-
thing.
Did you even look through the windows?
Yeah. And I'm guessing that answer was no.
Exactly. And then my landlord has a go at me because the police have broken my front door down, and my landlord has to replace the front door.
I'd be like,
Even
"You
though
can
I
build
had
this."
absolutely no control over it happening.
Yeah. We're like, hey, you're free to bill the police. Did you hear
Right.
in the US that, like, I think the police were chasing, like, this criminal through, like, this woman's house? Shot up her house and refused to pay for it?
What?
Yeah. Insane. Absolutely insane.
I mean, they did replace my front door, but I had to spend 48 hours with no front door,
Where's
essentially.
the security? Yeah, absolutely.
On my own, in a wheelchair. You know. Where anybody could have knocked down the door and walked right in.
Yeah. Do I have an anti-electric outfit? Yes.
I actually had to park my electric wheelchair against the door to stop it from
Feeling
opening.
unsafe, yeah.
And I didn't sleep at all that night.
I don't blame you.
Until it was fixed, and then I collapsed.
It's hard to feel safe if your door ain't locked.
Right? There are times I don't even feel safe without putting the chain on. The trouble is I'm not allowed to put the chain on. Because if I need an ambulance person to come in,
Well, you have the police. They can knock the door down. I've done it before.
I mean... While you are not wrong...
You know, I am going by precedent.
Right?
Stay still and let me shoot.
But it just bugged me that all it would have taken was one check through the window to see that I wasn't actually in the property.
Yeah. But, you know, that's it.
And yeah, the reason they couldn't get through to me on my phone was because I turned it off because I was in the cinema. So that's why when you and I kept going to the cinema after that, I'd never turn my phone off, I'd just put it on silent. Because of that incident. So yeah, even when the police are trying to help.
Yeah, they hinder.
No, I admit, although I'm upset at what happened, I'm still grateful that they did it.
Yeah.
Because there could have been something seriously wrong.
Well, they meant it, right?
Exactly.
But if they could mean well in a less destructive way, that's great.
It was just that it went from he lives on his own to oh my god something's happened to him.
Yeah.
just because I didn't answer the phone for a couple of days. When there could have been any number of reasons. Because we've all done it where we've been out to the cinema, put our phone on silent, forgotten we put it on silent.
Yeah.
And then find out a month later that, oh my god, I've missed all these calls because my phone's been on silent.
Yeah. I wish there was a save.
Oh, by the way, have you heard the latest on this Eminem debacle?
Yep.
So he's... Yeah, I take it you know the story so far, though, that he... Sorry?
I remember you talking about it on Friday.
So he's now released a new song that's taking the piss out of people that were trying to cancel it.
Yeah.
And he called it Tone Deaf.
Yeah.
So here's a question that I'm interested in as a lawyer and as a book writer. What is the difference between justice and revenge?
The scope.
Okay.
So revenge typically takes us too far. I mean, justice might not feel like justice, typically. That is punishment. Whereas revenge typically is getting back to the scope that you wronged are satisfied, rather than
yeah, I mean,
dependent on person.
because for me, from a legal point of view as a lawyer, I've sat there, even in my own case, where I was the victim. All the guy got was a £300 fine, a restraining order that he didn't even obey, and a year's probation. Whereas I ended up unable to even now leave my home on my own. I've got a permanent injury as a result of his actions that causes me other issues as a result.
I think justice is based on the rules, rather than inflicting a similar amount of comeuppance to other parties, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get it. I'm just saying, it's interesting because part of why books sell is the whole fantasy that you can go too far.
It's similar to, like... it's why, like, John Wick is revenge, not justice, right?
Yeah.
Like, he killed your dog, he almost killed you, and he stole your car. But
I mean, to be fair, the second he killed my dog, that's it, you're dead.
But, like, murdering 50 people, it's not justice.
But wait, did they get in my way?
But you know what I mean, though, like...
Because you probably already know this, because I've mentioned it to you before, although I don't know how much attention you pay to what I say. So not a lot, probably, but you know. One of my favourite books of all time is a revenge story.
Count Monte Cristo?
Yes. Yeah. And that is, what, 300-400 years old?
Yeah.
And it's still one of the literary greats that's mentioned quite regularly, even now in modern...
Is that what I was gonna say? It might have been Phantom of the Opera or something.
Well, yeah, but that's not quite revenge story. That's more of a trying to fulfill a dream that he didn't have.
Pretty close, eh?
Well, no, it wasn't the character getting revenge on others. It was others getting revenge on the character.
If nothing else, it has a banging track.
Oh yeah, but that was Andrew Lloyd Webber that did that. The original Phantom of the Opera didn't have anything like that. But you know, the Count of Monte Cristo is so famous that there are several pop culture references even today about it. And one could say that he went too far because he not only completely ruined the people that sent him to jail, but he didn't even think it was worth it in the end.
Yeah. Because he's a wussy.
You know, he killed the people who directly stabbed him in the back, which is fair enough, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
to a point, I get it.
But he also he also destroyed the people close to them that were innocent.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, where do you draw the line?
Yeah. I mean, well, you know how I was brought up, so you can probably work out why it's my favourite of all time stories. Because it's that whole fantasy, you know, I wish I could find billions of pounds or trillions and use that to...
why the phrase, you know, I think that makes well exists.
Confucius?
I don't think so.
Or was he the one that he who seeks revenge must first dig 2 graves?
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, like, there's a reason that those sorts of phrases exist. It's because, like, there's another one that's like, I think it was like, fight is like poisoning yourself to, like, poisoning yourself to,
Brought that Stormbird
like,
here.
other sort of thing.
If I find any and destroy them, the machine should leave.
I forget the exact wording, but it's like cutting your nose to spite your face.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, yes, the Count of Monte Cristo was fully justified in taking away their businesses. In one point, he killed the guy's son, who actually turned out to be his own biological son, not that guy's. All because his wedding day was interrupted by him being arrested for a crime he didn't know he was committing.
Oh, okay. So he did commit the crime.
Yes. But he was unaware that he was committing a crime. Because he couldn't read or write. All he'd been asked to do was deliver a package to somebody. And if you can't read or write, then you don't, you know.
Yeah, I mean, with things like that, it gets complicated because, like, you're just a delivery guy.
Right? But anyway, it turns out that the one behind... Yes, so basically the guy who actually committed the crime that knew he was committing the crime was the judge's father. So the judge destroyed the evidence, exonerating the messenger, and sent the messenger to prison. So of course, when the hero figures all this out with the help of his cellmate, he breaks out of prison, finds a lost treasure of the Catholic Church, which is worth hundreds of millions and millions, and then uses that money to systematically torture and bring down the people that set him up.
Like, the thing that I find about Spike is, like, it's just tiring.
When he could have just married the woman he met after escaping and lived a happy life with millions and millions of millions.
Like, it's tiring to just hate them. Like, I imagine it like ages you as well.
Well, look at me.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, as I was saying, look at me and the stress that I've been through because of everything. And how well it's made me.
That's it.
But yeah, the trouble is, humans are emotional.
Absolutely.
And when you're emotional, you're not rational.
Yeah.
And when you're not rational, it doesn't matter how logical somebody's arguments are. If you're fixated on black and white, and it doesn't matter what you say or do, it ain't gonna change anything. Because some people don't know the difference.
So Dervahl was
For
behind
me,
these
like,
letters.
I'm
Brilliant.
mostly pretty
How
logic
dangerous.
based.
Now to bring word back to Pitchcliff.
So I know. So when I'm making bad decisions, I know. I don't
Yeah,
make
no,
bad decisions.
I get that, but then there are people like myself, if you've had depression, that gratification from doing the bad decision can be more intoxicating than doing the right thing.
Yeah.
You know, like spending all your money on the latest video game because you need that thrill of, oh, this is new, this is exciting.
I don't know if that's like... That's more self-control, though.
Yeah, but it's a similar premise.
Yeah.
I mean, take the abuse I went through. I won't go into detail, but eventually, 16 years after it was starting, I went, well, if you're going to treat me the same whether I do or don't do what I'm being accused of, then I might as well do what I'm being punished for, because at least then, you know, it's worth it.
Yeah. It's a very, mega mindy thing. You watch that film?
Yes.
That was a good film.
Yeah, there were many ways it could have been improved.
You'll be happy to know I found another one of those lures and destroyed it. Should be the last you'll hear of it.
By fire and spit, you went above and beyond. How do you know there won't be any more?
The workshop where I found it was long abandoned. You're safe.
Good. My troops want to spit and shake your hand, as my brother would have. On behalf of Pitchcliff and my family, I thank you.
How about we just leave out all spitting?
Yeah. How about you just give me shards instead? Extraordinary box. Okay, let's take a look.
But I think it's the fantasy that what is forbidden is permitted, provided you're powerful enough.
Yeah, I get that.
Which is why a lot of people like those martial art mangas.
Like, it literally happens to the rich.
Yeah. This is why, I don't know if we've discussed this, but somebody was saying that fining the rich is pointless.
Yeah, it is, because, like, fines, especially, like, cheap fines, is just a expensive, like, parking meter, essentially.
Yeah, a £500 speeding ticket for a billionaire isn't gonna...
Yeah, absolutely. Like, they're not gonna give a shit.
They'll wipe their backside with it and they'll be back on the road within 10 minutes, speeding along.
That's what I mean,
which is why I like that certain countries basically charge you a fine based on your income.
Yes, Norway, I believe, or Sweden, or one of the Nordic countries.
Yeah, Because at least then it actually means something.
Yeah. I want a sawtooth harp. That's going to be my primary upgrade that I need.
But then again, I once received a parking ticket when I wasn't even the person driving the car.
Well, yeah,
and you
that's
could
because,
clearly.
That's because it's registered to you. Like, I get it in a way. I'm not saying it's how it should be. Yeah.
And I mean, you could clearly see I wasn't the one driving.
Yeah. Let's see. Lancehorn, Rampler, Sawtooth, Lancehorn, Rampler. Rapper. Sorry, I'm just trying to...
No, it's cool. Inventory management is a thing.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make sure that I'm not selling stuff that I actually need. Rapper.
But the only thing that annoys me about my favourite book is that it's like 1,900 pages long.
Yeah.
And small print. The audio book alone, the unabridged version, is 72 hours.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I'm ashamed to say that I've sat there for 72 hours.
That's a long read.
Right?
Yeah.
But you see, there's a reason it's that long.
Yeah.
Because back then it was serialised in newspapers. And he was paid by the letter.
So he meanders.
Right? But it does also give you insight into the Napoleonic era of France.
Yeah.
So I appreciate it from both a literary point of view and a historical point of view.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Not to mention, he also mentions Freemasons in it.
Of course he does.
Well, I mean, back in the 1800s, Freemasonry was all over the place.
You can go
It was
anywhere
only-
without tripping over a Freemason.
No, really. It was only in 1940s that it slowed down.
Slowed down.
Yes, slowed down. And now it's coming to nearly a dead stop, but we won't go there.
Well, I think we've already discussed those issues. Much of them, anyway.
I mean, the organisation has to be falling apart if it let me in.
Just the wrong type of adjustment.
Yeah, like let me in.
Yeah. Oh, those riff-raff.
But no,
Sawtooth, can't tell.
there's a rumour going around that Prince Harry has pretty much been disowned by Philip.
Is this that interview with Meghan and Prince Philip? What's his name?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
I
not
don't know how-
surprised that the royal family was racist. I mean,
I mean, they've never exactly hidden it.
well, they've been pretty good at keeping it on the DL. At least.
Really? Because I could get you about 15 quotes right now within 10 seconds
No, I mean,
of
like,
Philip being...
at least not overt.
Yeah. Then again, Harry's one to talk dressing up in a Nazi uniform. And a fancy dress.
Yeah. I mean, at the same time, I kind of get it for if you do it once and you're apologetic, but it's when you do it over and over again. Because like once it might have actually been insane.
I don't know. Did he do it more than once?
Not so far as I know, but I could be wrong. Like, I don't keep track of all of the fact that he married Meghan Markle kind of indicates to me that at the very least he didn't mean it, but I don't know the inner workings of the royal family. You know, like...
I'm going to go out on some risky territory here.
Okay.
And make a couple of comments. One based on the uniform incident and one based on his marriage.
Okay.
Yes, it's going to get me in trouble, but I'm saying it for the purpose of both sides of the coin argument.
Okay.
He is the leader of a nation that is under constant scrutiny, so he should have known.
Yeah, no, I completely
Yes,
agree.
that's what I mean. He would have been brought up to be better than wearing the uniform.
At the same time, if your entire family's racist.
But there are limits.
I mean,
he would have known there'd be photographers.
But like, oh yeah, absolutely. But at the same time, it's like,
the scrapes.
He was pretty young at the time. And don't take this as me excusing him of any of this, by the way. This is not.
No, I can see where you're coming from.
More playing devil's advocate, let's say.
Yeah, which is what I'm doing as well.
But, like, it's kind of like your example, you're better despite your family, rather than because of your family.
Yeah.
It could be that he made that mistake while he was young, which, you know, the young make mistakes, that's fine. But at the same time, what was I about to say? Yeah, he was young, and that is kind of the rebellious impetuousness of being young.
Youth.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But then again, I've never dressed up in a Nazi uniform.
Absolutely. Like, it's like, what's his face that used the N-word on the street? I'm like, I have never done, and I never will. Because the fact that you are fine with saying it means that you're fine with using it in life. And I'm like, that is absolutely a no-go word, you know.
Yeah.
Like, if you are willing to say something in the heat of note, you must be fine with using it at some point. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, for all my parents' terrible behaviour, I'm lucky that they've never been that bad.
Right.
Yes, they've made derogatory comments towards women, both my mother and my father, but they've never been racist.
Right.
Or at least never racist to my face.
Right, okay.
That doesn't mean they aren't, that just means I've never heard them use that language.
Not that you've noticed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything I want? I probably want that one.
I mean, I've noticed they're a bit iffy around you.
I don't think I've seen them, really.
You haven't, but you've come up in conversation a few times.
Right. I can only take your word for it in that case, you know.
It was mostly while we were at college, and I was saying, "Oh, I've met, you know, you," and we were chatting and
okay,
stuff, and that you're Chinese, and because I didn't know how else to describe you, you know.
I mean, that's fair. That's a fair descriptor. I am Chinese.
Yeah, but it's like, which friend is this? So when I was saying I was going to go out and hang out with you, they were like, which friend is this? And I'd say my Chinese one.
Okay.
Because you were the only Chinese guy I knew, so it was an easy, you know.
An easy descriptor, that's fine, yeah.
And they just got this look without saying anything, you know.
Yeah. Well, at least they
So
knew better than to say something. There's that.
Yeah. But going back, so we're not going too far on a tangent.
Yeah.
Harry marrying Meghan doesn't mean anything because yes, her father's African
Another
American,
Banuk figurine.
but she's fairly light-skinned.
Yeah. I mean, I get it from that point of view as well. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it, you know, negates it in any way, shape or form. I'm just saying one can't say that, oh, he's not racist because he married her
It's
when she's not exactly dark.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the I've got a black friend argument, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, it doesn't prevent it, but it means that at least they're not bigoted enough that they would never marry outside my race, you know, like.
But then again, he got kicked out of his position as prince fairly soon after the wedding, so
I mean, that's just
make of that what you will.
That says more about the family than it does him, though.
No, I mean, that's what I mean. You saying the family's not like, oh, we will never intermix. Well, look.
No, I mean, like, it says more about him that he's first and foremost, like, I bet they had this conversation when he proposed or before he proposed with his family.
Yeah.
Basically going, don't do this, otherwise obviously that will happen. If they felt that strongly about that union, then that is what would have happened.
Because my impression of things I've seen and heard, they're certainly concerned that she's after the money.
I mean, I think she'll be fine. Like, she's not exactly poor. Like...
No, but at the same time, she's not exactly rolling in it either. By comparison.
I mean, everyone's going to seem poor compared to the monarchy, I guess, but...
Oh no, sorry, I know that. I'm just saying that that was one of their concerns. Based on what I've seen and heard and read.
But like, why don't they have that issue with all the other people that all of the other royals are married?
Well, look at what happened with Camilla Parker Bowles. Queen said that if Prince Charles marries her, she will never become queen and you'll never become king.
I mean, she's got to be running out of children to potentially pass that through to, right?
Well,
if she
yes.
keeps on going, unless you're marrying to my specifications, I'm not going to give you the monarchy. Like, what are the chances of that happening?
Well, exactly. I mean, I'm just paraphrasing what's been said in the news. Whether or not any of it is true, I can't, you know, confirm nor deny because I'm not a royal.
Yeah.
So what?
Unless there's something you're really not telling me.
Damn it, look, Zach, you've caught me out.
Where's that really royal money for me, buddy? Where's that royal money for me?
Sonic being for you, where's my car? But the trouble is, when it comes to the monarchy, it's one rule for them.
Oh yeah.
Because they are the rule.
Yeah. Like, she doesn't need a passport, she just goes, I'm the queen!
Yeah. Because all a passport is the Queen saying that this is one of my citizens. Allow them entry. That is literally all it is. I mean, when your face is literally printed on money, a bit like the opening for Far Cry 4.
Can you imagine, like, being that smart? Like, see this? That's me! This is me as well! And you're like, just getting out like 5 coins.
Could you imagine the Queen going into a shop going, I don't need to give you money, I am!
I'd be like, the Queen's trying to rob me, mate, that bitch. Like, she needs the money. Please.
She is the money!
Right? Like...
I laugh way too hard at that. You have to think the mental image is funnier.
Yeah. Like, see this 10 pence? That's me. Guys, can you guys hold on?
I mean, I've a lot of respect for the Queen because she's, 65 years on the throne.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, she's way older than 65.
65 years on the throne, and worked in the factory during the war, and drove.
Yeah.
When most monarchs would be getting the hell out of Dodge.
Well, even, like, Harry and whatever were in the armed forces, right?
Yeah, but they
were pilots.
How do I put this politely?
It wasn't wartime?
No, it was, because it was Iraq. Harry, when he was a pilot in the armed forces, was surrounded by people protecting him.
Right.
Whereas during the war, the Queen pretty much...
They didn't have enough people.
Worked in the factory with the common folk. As a common person. I don't know how else to put it.
As she without money.
Whereas when he was a pilot, he was surrounded by special elite guards.
How am I getting up there? To your head.
So, and his positions were kept secret because they knew that he'd become an instant target.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Whereas the Queen was never in that position. There are very, very famous photos of her in the factory. Which, to me, takes more guts and balls than anything her children did. I'm not disparaging them, I'm just saying that there's no real comparison.
Right.
Queen is one badass lady.
Back to your business.
Not sure about all the races.
Well, that's mostly her
Should
consort.
be able to jump onto the tall neck from here.
Her husband.
Philip here.
Yeah.
Prince Andrew's not that great either.
Well, the less said about him, the better.
Honestly, he should have lost his position after this. He had ties to thingy, right? Epstein.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I support the monarchy in terms of tourism and as having veto powers in the government for important issues. But people like Prince Andrew, etc.,
Good spot for jumping on.
they don't have proper jobs.
No, they don't.
They're just
I feel like
making money off their titles rather than working.
I feel like it really makes them disconnected from the working class, though.
Yeah, exactly the point I was getting at without knowing how to word it.
My issue with a lot of politicians these days as well is that, like, they're not doing it to help their constituents, they're doing it to make money.
Well, no, look at what happened with the NHS pay rises and the food for the people who are affected by coronavirus.
Even, like, in the US, well, especially in the US, it's the case.
Some of my friends have suggested that people over the age of 50 shouldn't be allowed to sit in political office.
Okay.
Because they're going to die before a lot of their policies are
No, I just
seen through.
Yeah. I kind of get it.
I do too.
Like, why are you making decisions on a world that's essentially not going to be yours in however many years?
Because take Brexit, for example, the majority of the vote was done by the elderly.
That's what I mean, like... They had a good run. Like, they can start off. I know, that's not a delicate way of putting it. It's more like... A lot of the old are set in their way. And if you're old and in a powerful position, you are going to be overwhelmingly conservative because the status quo is serving you very well, and you want to keep it as it is.
Because the thing is, back in the sort of 70s and 80s, before we went into the European Union, the world was geared up towards commercial fishing and things like that. Nowadays, it is all about working together with other countries.
Yeah.
So we've shot ourselves in the foot.
We've turned... What was the phrase? We've turned our, 20 closest economic neighbours into economic rivals.
Yeah. And we've lost most of our knowledge of independent living because the people in those positions grew up being part of the union.
And, part of my issue is that, maybe what you voted for wasn't the fact that it was to do with the immigrants, or it was to do with the European Union having too much power over, too much say in the country. Right?
Or don't get me started on the fact that Farage didn't actually vote on most of the issues.
Well, my issue is that most of those laws are developed to protect you as a common person. They're not there to protect anyone else.
The wealthy, the tax dodging,
It's to make sure that, the food that you are eating is edible. It's to make sure that you are getting what you paid for. Things like...
That you're not discriminated against, that there's no sexual harassment, that... Yeah.
And it's stuff that makes sure that, the chances of you being able to buy rotting meat in, a supermarket because... business shouldn't be regulated, blah blah, get your hands off my business. It's to protect you. It doesn't make any sense to me that you wouldn't want these controls in place in the first place.
I'll find a use for you.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not like they're making these laws just to flex their political muscle at us.
One of their favourite arguments that's used by people is this European Union shadow army that's going to patrol the borders. Now, given that Russia's recently threatened nuclear war, America's recently threatened nuclear war, wouldn't you want that army protecting the borders?
Well, it's more like,
I know it's not actually what's happening, but I'm just saying in general, you know?
But what they're seeing is, it's not ours, it must be bad. Which is weird, because if you think of the UN as in a similar
I was about to say, but then what's the United Nations?
Then it's just as bad.
And the Geneva Convention was brought on by military precision working together.
Yeah.
To protect the rights of soldiers in wartime.
And civilians.
Yes, well. I wasn't sure. I assumed so, but I wasn't sure, so.
About not committing war crimes and using chemical weapons on civilians as well. Not that anybody really listens to it.
Oh yeah, I mean, I still remember the trials at The Hague for the Nazis in the early 2000s.
What gets me is you can't commit war crimes if you're not in a war, and it's that's not how it works.
The whole point is that anybody can do a war crime at any time and start a damn war.
That's the thing. It's like it's still a war crime. You know that, right?
Because it's a crime that we will go to war for. Hence, war crime.
Hey boy, let me stab you.
But then again, I can sort of understand where the elderly are coming from the point of view that I'm very nostalgic for my childhood. But when video games were cheaper, like £10.
But like, leaving the EU is not going to do that, though.
Oh no, sorry, I didn't mean it like that. I'm just saying I can understand the whole rose-tinted glasses perspective of one's view.
But like, yeah, so carrying on from the point that we were discussing, like, yeah, so the only real excuses that really come up for Brexit
Must be close to another signal.
seems racist. Like when you boil it down,
we want more money for the NHS.
and that's not a bad thing, but that's on the Tories.
And all I could think when they were like, we got then have this £360 million for the NHS was.
I was like, no, you don't. You fucking don't.
All I could think when they said that was strange how it's the exact amount that you paid the DUP for a coalition government.
Like,
you've used exactly the same figure.
I'm like, where, like, if you suddenly leave the EU, you're not going to suddenly have £360 million.
No, because you're going to end up losing money because you've got to pay increased import tax.
But they don't care about that. It's the here and now, like. And what incised me even more is the fact that, like, the morning after, he's like, no, I never said that.
Yeah, not even 12 hours went by.
And it's like, well, you have it.
There's a photo of him stood next to the bus.
If you never said that and it's wrong, why the fuck is it on the side of your goddamn bus?
And he turned around and said, oh, that was my campaign manager, I never agreed to it. And I'm like, your photograph stood pointing at the damn bus.
But the issue is he didn't disagree with it because it was still on the fucking bus.
He's the party leader. If he says take it down...
Oh, it's in the can.
But I just can't get over the fact that it's the exact same amount of money that they managed to pull out of their back pocket when they needed to buy votes to remain in power.
What also annoys me is the fact that, like... Get over here, buddy. It's the fact that, like, he is allowed to get away with such suspicious shit.
Yeah.
Like, someone tried to ask him why the bank is paying off his fucking mortgage, and he's like, no comment. It's like, I think it's kind of important if, you know, special interests are buying your fucking vote.
That is called government corruption.
It's just corruption, full stop, yeah.
Well, I meant corruption at the government level.
Oh,
yeah. And the thing is, when the world's top financial economic experts are saying, whatever the hell you do, don't vote for Brexit, who's going to be more knowledgeable? And the trouble is, there's sod all we can do about it. And not only that, we've walked away with no deal.
Don't get me started on that.
Which means we'll have to pay out through the nose.
Oh yeah, it's already... What gets me is people who, like, voted for Brexit and suddenly are incised at the fact that Brexit means that, you know, free passing through borders is restricted. Because that's what you fucking vote for.
And now you got to pay for it all.
Yeah.
Got their
And on
attention?
top of that, it was day 2 and the pound fell by over double.
Oh yeah, that's always going to be the case. Like, anything that worries investors, that's always going to...
And how many Chinese and Japanese car manufacturers suddenly closed all their factories in England?
Oh.
Because they said that it was down to racism?
It is.
Oh no, sorry, I wasn't disagreeing with their statement. I was like, we've literally bit the hand that feeds us.
But at the same time, it's like, it's just not
You will not escape me!
viable because they've got to import the parts to assemble those.
Yeah, so they've then gone and built the factories elsewhere. And the amount of Freemasons who are conservatives that are like, oh, you need to vote Conservative, only they care about your future.
That is what absolute bullshit. And they wonder why. And they wonder why it's in the state it is.
Right.
Like what? You mean like the past like 8 fucking
Story
years?
said, patience.
Yeah.
Like, because the Tories have done so well for us. I just wish people thought about like, the country as a whole rather than their pockets.
Yeah.
But obviously that's not going to happen in a capitalist society.
Gotta relax.
It just...
Do you want to be like... Alright. Aloy's being a little bitch.
It just boggles the mind that in this day and age, with so many people on social media going that this is excluding people, etc., how this could happen.
Looks like we're introduced.
I'm not surprised though, like, in many ways, because like, the coup on January 6th was very revealing.
Yeah.
I hate this ladder.
And also the fact that the highest thing Googled the day after the election results was, what is Brexit?
Like, what pisses
So
me off
these-
is people who voted for it for shits and giggles because they didn't think that would get through.
Yeah, well, how do you think it passed, you dumb...
That's what I mean. Like, look, you piece of shit. If you don't know what the fuck it's about, don't fucking vote.
Right?
Or do research before you do. It's like, why the hell are you voting for shits and giggles?
Right?
We may have more company.
You know, I'm tempted to apply for European Union citizenship.
You can get a European passport.
Yeah, but I don't know how.
I don't know the process either at the moment.
Hostile spotted.
Because the main way I know is by buying property in the EU, but I don't want to...
Basically, I think basically the European Union said that, you know, this is unfound to people who didn't actually vote for Brexit.
Because I'm one of the people who didn't, obviously.
And has basically said that, like, if you want to be a European citizen, do so, there's going to be a process for it, I think.
But they haven't publicised how, well, that's the problem.
No, I don't know that they've got a process in place yet. But it'll be
But if you and I keep an eye out for it, if it happens, let me know.
Yeah.
And I'll let you know if I find it, because I'm not... Don't get me wrong. I'd rather have dual citizenship to keep things the way they are than lose
You won't
my
use anything,
humanity.
You won't
Sorry?
use anything by like applying for it, so you might as well.
Exactly.
What the hell am I supposed to do? Oh, over there, okay.
I see something.
Here we go again.
The shadow will reach you wherever you go.
Oh, here we go. On the EU website, it says you may be eligible if you have grandparents or great-grandparents that were from EU countries. Mine weren't part of any of the countries listed. They were European. Trouble is, it just mentions the standard ways, not...
Yeah. Not what I thought.
Yeah. Dual citizenship or having a second passport is gaining popularity. No crap.
So if you're popular,
Most... Right? Second passport is considered an insurance policy in a tumultuous world. Wow! You would never have... And England is listed as one of the countries that allows dual citizenship.
wouldn't surprise me if already done it.
Blatantly has already done it. How else would he own all that property over there?
That was annoying. My controller stopped responding.
Battery?
No, it's wired. Oh, he went down like a chunk.
I may have found it, I'm not sure.
Yeah? What does it say?
I'm still reading, I'll let you know.
Alright, sounds good.
Because the trouble is, the European country that my grandparents come from, which would qualify me, just on the fact that they're my grandparents, no longer exists.
Yugoslavia? Sorry, was that yes?
Yes.
Did you not base it on the country it is now then?
I don't know what the country is called now, that's the point. I believe it would be Serbia, but I'm not 100% sure.
That sounds about right. So I don't know much.
No, nor do I.
Countries. Right, you're getting frozen.
Apparently we can still enter Europe without a visa for now.
Yeah.
But how
It's
long
until
for?
like you finalise everything.
But the thing is, I want dual citizenship to prevent, you know. Here we go, here we go. From 2022, British passport holders will need to register before travelling to any of the countries, including Spain, Italy and France.
Yeah.
And we have to pay fees.
Well, yeah. Like, it's the same as, like, going to the US or whatever. Like, just because we're allies doesn't mean we have to.
And yet apparently the Irish don't need to pay anything.
Well, that's because they're, well, technically, they're the backstop, right?
Yeah, they're still part of the EU according to this. Which is insane. No, I mean they're part of the UK, so they're not treated under the UK, which is insane.
I don't know if it's because it's like... Ow.
And we have to be screened as well.
That I'm surprised. We've done pretty badly when it comes to...
Right.
Pack record 8th rank.
Still sniffing around.
Well, there's a... If I got an Italian dual citizenship, I'd have unlimited travel. Brexit period ends under the same laws as EU member states. Sorry, I'm trying to get through all the legalese here.
Figured you'd be fluent by now.
I'm only a second year.
I figured the first thing you'd have to do is be able to read legal.
No, but the first thing we were taught was about EU law, ironically.
Well, not gonna need that now.
Hence why I said ironically. So I essentially wasted a year.
Well, unless you move to the EU, right? Like...
At this rate, I might just end up doing that.
Maybe I'll move to Sweden.
Right?
I like Sweden all the way.
Trouble is, I don't want to apply for an Italian passport when I can't speak a word of Italian.
Pretend. Just say things in English with an Italian accent.
They're giving up.
It's a me, a Mario. Hey, Luigi!
Add a bit of finger waving and you'll be fine. It's fun. What British do...
Hey, Luigi, where's my plums, a pizza?
It's what we do when we go abroad, you know, it works there, it's bound to work.
So that's not racist in the slightest.
Hey, I wasn't the one that was actually doing it.
I think I can leap onto the tunnel from here.
That's all on you.
In my defense, I was doing what is known and protected under law as parody.
Excuses. AKA.
Also known as acceptable racism.
I know how to speak a foreign language. Proceeds to speak in English, but louder and slower.
Oh God, don't get me started.
You know it's true.
It reminds me of this holiday
be a
trip
good
that
spot
me
for
and my
jumping
family
into the
took to France.
Yeah.
Now, my father can speak French,
Right.
but we're by no means fluent.
Right.
I can say enough to get us around and find what we're looking for,
Yeah, yeah.
but that's about it. And
All I really
as
know
a
is, do you speak English in French?
and where is the library? Où est la bibliothèque?
Or, I have a phone that can translate for me.
But no, so we're driving through
Already.
towards a sheet, which is essentially a small cottage
Yeah.
used as a holiday home.
Right.
You know, a bit like Airbnb would be nowadays. So we're driving along and Mum's exhaust pipe fell off the car.
Right.
So there's my dad, who reattaches it with a coat hanger,
Right.
as you do.
Jury rigging. Yeah. Love it.
Yep. Just to get us to a garage.
Yeah.
Then trying to explain in
Maybe
very,
jump
very
into the
broken
tunnel.
English.
Broken English? Not broken French.
Well, broken French with English gestures.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
That's like. I'm
Trying
pretty
to
sure he
explain-
should know English by now.
Trying to explain to this mechanic what a coat hanger is and what he's done to the car.
He could just like exhaust, broke, fix.
Ugh.
Yeah. Spanner,
Um,
smack.
Donk, donk.
Yeah, yeah. Me pay you francs. You know.
Many francs fix broke.
Okay, time to climb up to its head.
You will forever have the gratitude of this British guy.
It was also one of my most painful holidays.
Yeah. Physically,
Yes.
what you do?
So, in the same holiday cottage of that trip, we had gone out for the day and it was raining by the time we got back.
Yeah.
And so at this point, you know those crutches you've seen that I own?
Yeah.
I was using those to walk back then. I didn't use a wheelchair.
Yeah.
And the sheet's floor were tiles.
Yeah. Slippery.
So it slipped.
Yeah.
I went down like a sack of potatoes,
Nice.
with the leg of the tripod landing between my legs,
Oof.
and the handle landing in my solar plexus.
Nice.
So, like I say, one of my most painful trips,
Yeah.
literally. But it was so weird watching English TV with French subtitles because you couldn't turn them off.
That reminds me of that episode of Friends where like the end credit sequence was like in Spanish. Because during the episode Marcel had like changed the
Trail?
dub of the language to Spanish on their TV. Do you remember that one?
Vaguely.
It's pretty funny. Like Ross and the gang speaking in Spanish, like in dub. As opposed to the usual English. Part of me wants to fight that Thunderjaw, but part of me doesn't.
Do you really want to lose valuable resources when it's hard to get?
Well, that ends it. We finish in 5 minutes.
Well, I mean, I meant for next time.
Well, I think it's going to take me more than 5 minutes to fight the fucking...
Well, that's why I said I meant for next time.
Yeah. I'm just trying to find this flower out of me.
Got one.
Alright, nothing to see here. Moving on.
Unfortunately, Serbia is not one of the countries that offers unlimited.
Rubbish. What is the state of Serbia these days?
I don't know without looking it up, to be honest, but apparently the second most popular new nationality for English people is French.
Huh, that makes sense. Europe. Staying in Europe, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the closest as well, because it's what?
Yeah, like...
An hour's sailing?
A friend of mine's mother teaches French and
Keep that for
super
later.
fluent.
I mean, I'd probably be fluent enough to go there, but not to live.
I guess you'd pick it up if you were there, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I'm saying that is because I've probably forgotten more French than I remember knowing.
Yeah.
The trouble is, there's just no word for how to do it other than, you know, having a family member who was originally from that country, and I'm like, that isn't what...
There are ways of emigrating.
But what I mean is, that isn't what we were promised.
Yeah. Nice. 23. Yeah. I don't know, it's hard.
I mean, I could move to Ireland and then I'd get it that way.
I don't know. I've only been briefly, but I don't really have much of a sense of what Ireland's like.
No, I just meant I could do it.
No, I know. But like,
one of the options, but...
You'd have to want to move there or live there, right? Like...
Yeah.
I went as a holiday, but that's about it.
I haven't even done that, so...
Had a Guinness there, that was alright.
Really?
Yeah. That's one of
Isn't
those
that
things you
like
have to
tar?
do. It's one of those things you have to do while you're there, right?
There's a reason even the Irish call it bog water.
Oh, he doesn't have a massive selection. Where was it? Yeah. Osram Arab. Yeah, I'm just gonna see if I've got the shards to buy some stuff.
Yeah.
And then finish for the day.
Can't get a wink of sleep.
Yeah, I'd like to go to Norway or Sweden. I'd emigrate
I
there.
honestly
If
think
Canada
the
wasn't a
Netherlands,
choice.
Sweden or somewhere like that would be my choice.
Yeah.
But I don't speak Swedish.
There it is. Let's see. Let's
But I
look at
hear
it.
that a lot of Swedish people speak English.
Yeah. Let's see. I need a watcher heart. I'll sell everything. Sell.
It's either that or move to Canada.
Well, that is my secondary.
Because you'd still get your free healthcare. And they speak English. So it wouldn't be a massive, you know.
Yeah.
And if I pass my law degree before I do it, it increases my chances of immigration. You'd almost think I'd planned it.
Well, for me, modify eBay.
So, I mean, if you ever want to move to Canada and you need someone to share rooms with, to help you pay the rent, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like, I hadn't really seriously thought about.
No, whereas I really have, but then my ex.
Per se. But, like, with everything with Brexit going on, it's kind of like, can't look at it more seriously now.
Me too, because whatever they want to do with Brexit is their decision, but that doesn't mean I have to go along with it.
Yeah.
And
yeah, let's finish for the
they've
day.
made their views on disability clear, and I no longer feel welcome in my own country.
Yeah, which is a shame. Like, the crux of it, and I know the people who, well, a lot of the people who voted for it wouldn't like to be seen in such a light, but, like, lacking any other sort of legitimate argument, I can't help but to see it that way, is that the argument for Brexit was purely...
Yes.
Because everything else they could have looked up. Like, if you went to the average Brexit voter and said, what is it about the European law that they have imposed on the UK? Is it that you are opposed to? They wouldn't be able to give you a specific.
Yeah, all they want is to close the borders.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you don't need to leave the EU to close the border.
And it's...
The EU had absolutely no control over border policy.
And it's people like Nigel Farage and Boris Johnson that have been screaming that immigrants are taking their jobs for years, despite the fact that main jobs that the immigrants are taking are the jobs that you're not going to want anyway.
That the UK people don't want, yeah.
Yeah.
Like nurses and doctors and...
Like, in the US, they have a similar issue where it's like fruit picking. Like, it's hard jobs that don't pay a living wage. That...
I mean, even I turned around and said I would do any job that any American wanted to give me just to get out of the UK.
I mean... There would be accessibility issues.
Less issues than you'd think, because the federal laws out there state that all workplaces have to be wheelchair accessible.
Yeah, but I don't think that applies to, like, apple picking or whatever.
Well, no, I just mean in terms of I could get a job. It just wouldn't be that.
Yeah. Well...
I'd probably end up as a greeter for Walmart, you know, one of those people that sits by the door going, can I help you find anything?
Yeah, I mean...
But I mean, even that's better than nothing.
But it's just easier for them to say the excuse is something else, a reason that they didn't hire you and just hire someone more able.
Oh, you mean like they do over here?
Yeah, it's a thing that occurs both. Right, anyway.
Why do you think I want to get that law degree?
Yeah, thanks for joining us for part 5. Tomorrow should be the start of Hitman.
Yep.
I don't know whether I want to purchase 3 yet. I'll probably worry about that after I finish 1 and 2.
Why not get it? Wait until the end of the month.
Wednesday will be more Horizon Zero Dawn. Thursday will be Tag Along Thursday with Resident Evil 3 remake, because I'm not going to play the old. And Friday will be more Star Wars: The Old Republic. Thank you for joining me. Have a good day. Bye now.
Bye.